Almost everyone loves to swim. The cool water and white sands of pristine beaches all over the world call us away from the summer heat and the daily grind of our 9 to 5 for vacation time. And while many bodies of water are relatively safe, there are places that are far too dangerous to swim in. From dangerous creatures that won't hesitate to eat you, from pollution so bad you wouldn't dare enter the water, we found 10 places you should never swim. But before we check them out, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when a new video comes out. Fraser Island, Australia. If you're going to talk about just the swimming part of this island, then we can simply say, this is one of the places you should never swim. Many people have become victim to the dangers of Fraser Island in Australia. In fact, the waters around this island are a no-swim zone due to all of the inherent dangers. If you choose to swim here, you can easily drown in the strong riptide, as the strong force of the water pulls you under the waves. If it isn't the water that gets you, it will be the sharks. And it goes without saying that the most poisonous, deadliest, and meanest of all jellyfish inhabit Australia, the box jellyfish. And we haven't even touched on the saltwater crocodile, which hunts up and down the beaches. But even if you choose to lie on the beach instead of swimming, angry dingoes or poisonous spiders await anyone that tries to invade their beaches. Kipu Falls, Kauai. Kipu Falls is a very beautiful place. However, swimming is strictly forbidden here. The reason for this is because many people have met their doom trying to get some water fun in on vacation. Some people jump from the ledge and become injured or even much worse. Other swimmers have seemingly perished for no apparent reason. There have been reports of people swimming and then suddenly becoming distressed, and then mysteriously disappearing under the surface of the water. There are some people who claim that the reason for these mysterious events is that an angry Hawaiian water spirit lizard lives there. It is said that the spirit drags people down and holds them at the bottom. Of course, there might be a more obvious or realistic explanation for this happening. Other people believe that there is a whirlpool that pulls people under. However, divers have said that the water is calm under the surface, so no one really knows why this occurs. The Sitaram River. This is one of the most polluted rivers in the world, where you would never dare to take a swim unless you were wearing a hazmat suit. It's a shame, really, and unfortunately, this polluted, nasty and dirty water is the main water source of Jakarta. It is also the only source of water that flows to the farms, which produce around 5% of the city's rice. And the farmers' rice yield is now down by 2/3 in the rainy season, as textile factories dump more and more industrial waste into the river. Besides the problem that the water is heavily polluted, it contains tons of plastic water bottles that almost completely cover the surface of the water. Not to mention the numerous chemicals such as lead, cadmium, aluminum, and chromium. In fact, the water is also found to contain about 3 times the average amount of aluminum and 3 times the average amount of iron concentrations. Despite the efforts to clean the river, the locals still dye their clothes and rinse the black dye into the water, right next to groups who are cleaning the river. It may well be that the river will end up becoming so polluted that it will be completely unusable. Horseshoe Lake, California. Horseshoe Lake is gorgeous, and it seems safe enough. The only problem is that there were several earthquakes between 1989 and 1990. When these earthquakes occurred, it allowed excessive amounts of carbon dioxide to rise from the floor of the lake, which annihilated all of the trees. While there is little risk of volcanic eruptions, the gas levels in the area are unpredictable. It can be safe one day, and the next, the levels of gas can be fatal. In fact, there are warning signs all over the area to warn you of the dangers that exist here. In 1998, a man perished on the lake due to rising gas levels, and in 2006, members of a ski patrol were asphyxiated due to the levels of gas. It may be beautiful, but it is far too dangerous to even chance a swim here. The Boiling Lake of Dominica. It should go without saying that you shouldn't swim in boiling water. But in case you need a warning, we'll give you one. The Boiling Lake of Dominica is considered to be one of the hottest and intense lakes in the world. Trust us, this is certainly nothing like those hot springs you would likely see in a tourist's brochure. In fact, this lake is said to be filled with bubbling gray-blue water. However, the dangerous thing is that it cannot be seen. The reason why you can't see the bubbling water is that it is totally covered by large clouds of water vapor. This lake came into existence as a result of a crack in the Earth's crust that is in the direct vicinity of an active volcano. That might give you an idea of how hot the water in the lake might be, especially if you take into consideration the boiling center of the lake where it is its hottest. In fact, it can reach 212 degrees just in the air around the lake. Because of the underwater eruptions, the lake also reeks of sulfur. There have been many reported incidents of people suffering second and third degree burns just from getting near the lake. The Yenisei River, Russia. This is one of the last places that you would want to swim because it is radioactively contaminated. The reason for this is because there is a plutonium factory nearby, and they have been dropping waste into the river for years. The factory claims that there is nothing wrong with the water. However, the people who live downstream from the plant have high rates of leukemia, breast cancer, and their babies are born with genetic defects. With all this bad stuff happening, it's one lake you certainly don't want to take a swim in. New Smyrna Beach, Volusia County, Florida. This is a great place for surfing. That is, if you like swimming and surfing with sharks. The water here are overpopulated with fish, which attracts the sharks. According to the International Shark Attack File, this is the shark attack capital of the world. According to scientists who have studied the beach, if you go swimming anywhere in these waters, you will likely be within 10 feet of a shark at any given time. The most commonly found shark in this area is the bull shark, who tend to be extremely aggressive, and are the only shark that is overly aggressive to humans, hence the name bull shark. The attack rate is so high that in 2008 alone, over 1/3 of all the shark attacks in the world occurred in these waters. The Zambezi River. This river is ranked to be the 4th longest river in Africa. It serves as the boundary between two nations, namely Zimbabwe and Zambia. The river is teeming with dangerous animals that would love to take a bite out of you, including the predatory and ever-hungry crocodiles. In addition to that danger, the rapids there are very intense and can easily lead you over the edge of Victoria Falls, which is considered to be the 2nd tallest waterfall in the world. With that said, if you happen to be in a boat and lose control of your craft, you could be in for an incredible ride. There is also said to be dangerous whirlpools in the area, which can pull swimmers and even a boat under the water. The Same-san Hole. This body of water is a popular spot for extreme divers. It is located near Same-san, which is a nearby fishing village. It is one of the deepest dive sites in the Gulf of Thailand, with a drop of 280 feet. The strong currents in the water and many oil tankers that pass make these waters even more dangerous. Only the most skilled and experienced divers should even attempt to drop down into this waterhole. To dive in and come up safely, you will need to have special equipment and have had formal diving training. Even if you have these things, there could be a good chance of not surviving the dive and the return up because of the incredibly strong currents, which can pull and hold a diver underwater. Beppu Hills, Japan. The bodies of water that exist in this particular area are incredibly beautiful. It's one of the most scenic views when it comes to water. However, some locals talk of legend and describe this place as the pits of hell. The reason for this is because these hot springs can turn very red and reach high boiling temperatures. Therefore, for obvious reasons, swimming there is definitely not recommended unless you're planning on cooking yourself. Beppu Hills is a location that has intense geothermal activity. Only Yellowstone in Wyoming, USA has a higher rate of volcanic and geothermal activity. With that said, it's no wonder many people call this place the pits of hell. Deadly seaweed. Along the reefs dotting Fiji, there is a battle going on between corals and algae. Because of overfishing by Fijians, there are fewer fish to prune back the region's seaweeds, a blanket term for many kinds of big algae. These algae creep in and extend their tendrils over 60% of the ocean floor, which turns the waters a sludgy green. But it's not just the overgrowth that's the problem. Studies have shown that these algae may be carrying out chemical warfare on sensitive reefs. A test was done and seaweed was strung across growing corals. As predicted, the algal species had a poisonous touch, and the coral began to discolor and die when it rubbed against the seaweed. The key ingredient to their poison is chemicals called terpenes, which some algae use to sicken fish that feed on them. One nasty specimen is called turtleweed. It's really nasty, and most marine herbivores avoid it on sight, except for a species of rabbitfish which get excited when it sees the uncommon algae. It's not known if the toxins would affect humans, but you might not want to go swimming in green, sludgy, seaweed-infested water anyway. We hope you enjoyed this video. Would you dare swim in a place like this? Let us know where in the comments. If you liked the video and want to see more, then click subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll be the first to know when we post a new video. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.